All right, NBA free agency is underway, and the Lakers are somewhat active. Harrison Grant, Patrick Seatman here, as it's been a slow start to free agency overall, but the Lakers have been involved in a couple of notable moves. First, they officially lose Dorian Finney-Smith, Seeps, as in the last 48 hours, this was a growing concern for LA because he opted out of his $15.6 million player option. It was heavily reported that the Rockets were willing to offer him a 4-year deal and the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. That has happened as he gets 4 years and $53 million from Houston. So the Lakers and a good buddy of Luka Doncic, they lose a key role player.
Yeah, I think this is a big loss for the Lake Show. DFS, one of the better 3-and-D guys in the NBA. I think this is a great pickup for the Houston Rockets, and I think Dorian Finney-Smith probably wanted a longer-term deal. Obviously, you could have opted in for that $15 million, got more money annually, but he wanted that 4-year contract. Houston was willing to offer that to him. And I think that's a solid contract for him. Got good size, can defend on the perimeter, good point of attack defender, and plus when you have a superstar like Kevin Durant, Amin Thompson, you got to have spacing around those guys, and that's exactly what he will bring to Houston. But also a huge loss for the Lakers, Harry. Like, you need these guys around Luka, and you lose one of the better ones in the NBA.
Yeah, Luka can't be happy with this. Him and Finney-Smith are very close, dating back to their time in Dallas. They went to 2 conference finals together, 1 NBA finals together. He fits great with Luka because he's a good catch-and-shoot guy. He helps Luka on the defensive end, too, because of his defensive capabilities. So this is a massive loss. Here in a few moments, we'll get to the player the Lakers signed, but I don't think that you're off to a good start here if you're Los Angeles. You got LeBron, who's opted in. We'll work him into the conversation as well. You've traded for Luka, and everybody gave Rob Pelinka credit for winning that trade, and I do think long-term he did, but what are they going to look like for 2025-26? Because this was one of your key role players to help go on a playoff run, and he's out the door. So I don't know if the Lakers weren't willing to pay him a multi-year deal on the mid-level. To me, that's a pretty easy contract to give a player of that caliber.
Yeah,
you know what he brings to the table.
Luka, 26. You want to start competing here relatively pretty soon. We all agree they won this trade, but are you just going to waste this next upcoming season with LeBron and Luka, and you lose a guy like DFS? I don't really know what their plans are to fill out the rest of their team. We'll get to their recent signing here in a second, but I'll ask you guys this. How big of a loss is Dorian Finney-Smith for the Los Angeles Lakers? If I had to scale it 1 through 10, probably give it an 8 or a 9. I think this is pretty extreme. This is the perfect archetype of player you would want next to Luka. Best buddies with him, so I'll go 8 or 9. What about you, Harry?
Yeah, I'd give it a pretty high rating as well, probably 8, 8.5, because in a free agency market that's all about players in this kind of money range with the mid-level, you could have just given him the same deal, and I imagine he would have stayed. Now, maybe it'll come out that he wanted to come back to Texas and no state income tax. Who knows? But I do think that if they offered him this same type of deal, he likely would have stayed. And clearly they weren't willing to do that. Maybe that's because of their pursuit for a center, which you clearly need on this team, especially in a Luka-driven offense. But do not downplay this loss. I think this is a significant one. Now, they do sign Jake LaRavia, 2 years, $12 million, who got drafted by Memphis a few years ago, who got traded to Sacramento this past year and played pretty well for them. Kind of a, preferably a power forward. I don't think he's athletic enough to play 3, especially defensively for extended minutes. But a guy who can space the floor. Seeps finally started to shoot the ball pretty well last year, 40% guy for the year, north of 40% overall. So you get him on a relatively affordable deal. I'm not sure exactly if this comes from the biannual or the full mid-level. If it's part of the full mid-level, then they still have about $8 million in that bucket to spend, whether it's on a Brook Lopez, a DeAndre Ayton, whatever the case may be. I think LaRavia helps replace some of Finney-Smith's offensive production, but not defensively. He's not a plus defender.
A massive hit defensively. Are you going to run him next to LeBron, Luka, Austin Reaves? You got 4 negative defenders out there on the court, especially at the time LeBron is in his NBA career. And also, is this just a Maxi Kleber clone? Very similar players.
Kleber, in theory, is a good defensive player. At least he was.
He's got better size on him, but just being that 3-4, stretch the floor, I I like this move, but there has to be more moves to come. Like, this can't be all the Lakers do this offseason. It's like, all right, this is a group we're rolling out with. We're going to try to compete in the West, which the West has gotten significantly better already this offseason. I mean, where do the Lakers even rank right now in the Western Conference?
Yeah, I mean, they feel like somewhere between like 5 at the best, 10 at the worst. I mean, they're probably a play-in caliber team at this exact moment. Now, if they get a legitimate center that can play well with Luka, could they become like a dominant offensive type of team? But again, I think defensively they're probably going to struggle. LeBron at times can still defend, but he can't give you that every single night at his age. Jake LaRavia, I do think playing with Luka, you will probably see an uptick in his volume and efficiency compared to the rest of his career from three-point range. So I do think offensively his archetype fits well with Luka, and I think at that price tag, that's a pretty fair deal as well, $6 million per year. But I would say so far that you're at a net negative early on here, losing Finney-Smith and adding Jake LaRavia. So we know for a fact they're going to get a center. It's a matter of which one they get, and we'll see what happens there. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll talk a little LeBron on the back end here and just kind of explore his present and future here. But we got you guys covered throughout NBA free agency. If the Lakers make moves, we'll have it covered, whether it's myself, Seeps, Jeffrey Cooperstein, whoever's available in the office. We will bring you guys that news and reaction, so do not miss out, and appreciate the recent support on the videos as well. Okay, let's talk LeBron. So he opts into the deal, and then shortly after that, report comes out that he's not sure if he trusts the direction of the roster, and if he's going to keep playing at this age, he wants to have a chance to compete for a championship. He's not sure if the Lakers can provide that, and listen, they don't have a ton of flexibility here. He may not be wrong, but it's also like, why opt in then?
Yeah, like you can easily, like LeBron's made more than enough money, has that $1 billion deal from Nike. Like if this is true, just opt out of that, re-sign for like a 2-year, $30 million deal, give your team a ton more flexibility. I just think this was typical LeBron controlling the narrative. I'm going to opt into that player option. But also, I need to see the Lakers and what they do this offseason. They got to get a better roster around, myself, Luka, and Austin Reaves. But you also have kind of handicapped them where you can't make a lot of moves now. Like, you're kind of now just sitting there hoping that DeAndre Ayton or one of these centers will take that mid-level exception deal, which is still a question mark. But I would not be, or I would be shocked if he ends up getting traded. I don't think that's on the table. Some people have tossed out a couple different trade ideas, but I don't know. I just think this was there's a typical LeBron move. Like you opt in, then you get a statement out there that you're not happy with the roster. Not really putting too much more into that.
Bobby Marks does have the note that the first apron hard cap triggered $14 million below. Now, again, this is what makes the NBA difficult for consumers because they have all these aprons. What does that mean? I assume if they're $14 million below, they can still sign someone up to that number before getting the second apron. So could they still go get like a DeAndre Ayton for like $10 million a year or something like that?
Maybe. Brooke Lopez could be out there. I mean, I don't really know too many other options. They're not done.
I mean, there's no way this is what they're trotting out there opening night, this current roster, with only the moves of LeBron opting in, Jake LaRavia, and Jordan Goodwin. So stay tuned. More to come. We'll see what cap maneuvering that Rob Pelinka has in mind and who they're going to keep an eye on as NBA free agency rolls along. And I do wonder if the Ayton emergence does that kind of stall the center market a little bit, because we know the Lakers are going to be intrigued with adding a center, because we saw that Jackson Hayes is not going to cut it. Especially in a Luka-driven offense. I mean, you need to have an effective center. There's been Clint Capella buzz. I mean, there's guys out there, so we'll see where it ends up going. But keep an eye on that center spot for LA, and keep an eye on LeBron. If new developments occur, we will have that covered as well. Do you guys believe that LeBron will end his career in Los Angeles? Type Y for yes, he will, or type N for no, he will not.